Okay, so we to close down for 3 months due to coronavirus. So this is the bakery. At the moment, it's like a building site, but we're due to open in 2 days. Feeling a bit nervous, wondering will we have enough time to break in the oven?
2.5 days.
2.5 days. How will the bread do? So there's quite a bit of jeopardy. Will this work? Can they do it? I have faith. I'm a total optimist and dreamer. I think we'll have perfect bread, but the odds are against us.
They genuinely
are. What
are.
do you reckon? Comment below. What do you think? Do you think we can do it? This is our mother. Everything happens for a reason. The power's gone out. We're still waiting for the power to be turned on. Steam injector. Yeah, feeling a bit tired.
Look, got new plans today. Look at these.
One issue after the next, but fingers crossed. Pretty much my bedtime.
So just to fill you in on a couple of things, I guess one of the most dangerous things is a Flynn Twin with too much time in his hands. So we decided to open a bakery. You know, why wouldn't we? It was a natural thing to do.
We're notorious dream chasers, and back for the last 4 years, I remember sitting on a train in Poland watching Michael Pollan. There was a series on Netflix called Pear, and I remember being fascinated with the concept of fermentation and the traditional means in which you could rise your bread. And I fell down the rabbit hole of sourdough bread and literally fell in love with the romance and the process, and I tend to be very allured by the craft. And over the last 4 years, I've been really perfecting it, how to do it at a domestic level. And myself and Dave are notorious dream chasers. We're always chasing our ideals and dreams and see if we can put them into practice. So now the challenge with this bakery is how we can take domestic quantities and upscale them to where we're baking 100 loaves a day at least.
But I'm used to working off a kilo of flour. So kilo of flour, 75% hydration, we're talking 750 ml of water. Here I'm using 7.5 litres of water, 10 kilos of flour. Like here we're putting in, 1.8% salt, so 180 grams of salt, 2.5 kilos of levain. So this is big volume. We do have a 60 kilo mixer. Unfortunately, it's not plugged in, so we're gonna have to use these mixers for gluten development. We're gonna do a couple of folds, and then we're gonna pre-ferment our bulk in the fridge. So fingers crossed, here we go. Okay, so dough is mixed. It's really thick, it really is. So we mixed about 20 kilos of dough, largest amount of dough I've mixed for our bakery yet. I remember I used to do a pizza dough like this. Don't rip it, you're breaking the gluten.
But now I want to actually see if we've got a...
See, what we're trying to do is we're trying to develop gluten here until it passes the window pane effect. So it needs a little bit more massaging and coercion. But the goal is that it passes the window pane effect. Then we're going to bulk in the cold room. We're going to shape it in the morning, again retarded, and then bake it even.
Good morning. Hope you slept well. Okay, so the bulk ferment is finished. We've taken them out. We are separating them out and creating surface tension in the now before we individually ferment them. So we're literally just tucking them under and creating surface tension, creating more structure within our bread. And then we're going to leave it sit and proof again in individual banetons before we bake them. So really fun. This is our first test batch. Oven, electricians are in. Oven might maybe commissioned later. We're about 28 hours before we open now, so it's very exciting.
Right, Vinny, who are you?
Who am I? How are you doing?
Give us a bit of context.
So Vinny's a great character, he really is. He's the guy we brought the oven off, and we've always trusted him and had him to resort to for anything going wrong. And it really felt like there in that moment that I felt like we were back in a hospital, and someone was like, the midwife was saying to us, now here's your newborn baby, you figure it all out. And I felt it was almost an element of that, like Vinny kind of passing over the oven to us after days and months of kind of the build up to it. And here we were, we had this big oven, and we wanted to we wanted to start a bakery, and here we were, we actually had to start to do it. So in that moment, it was very overwhelming. It was like that real, that kind of, oh my goodness, can we do it? And I felt almost like that sense of imposter syndrome, or that kind of like, George, this is a big step. But yeah, it's been incredible. I guess that's where all the growth comes from in life, that once you're taking those steps and kind of facing your fear and dancing, I don't know, it just kind of tends to happen.
Been up since 5 a.m. now, and finally I let go of the oven. It's all working, it's been commissioned.
It's time to clean.
It's time to clean before we put in the bread, but it's suddenly, Dennis did an amazing job. Dennis managed to fit down the side of it to fit in the old...
Plumbing in the back of it too.
So, what a legend. Look at that, look at that physique.
Look at that, look. What a beast. Some man.
Right now, suddenly the reality is daunting, that suddenly it's like, we have now an oven, we have dough, we have a mixer, it's time to make bread. And suddenly I go from feeling overly excited, suddenly it's like, right, you gotta do this now. So suddenly it's a bit of a reality check, feeling a little bit afraid, but here we go.
So we'd mixed our dough and we kind of retarded it overnight. Retarding meaning it slowed down the fermentation in the fridge. And I remember taking that dough across the yard into the bakery, into the oven, and it's almost like walking into an interview and you hope you've done enough preparation, but you're not sure, and there's this kind of active faith of like, there's this hope, there's this sense of wonder, magic, excitement, and anxiousness, like fingers crossed, let's wait and see. And it's kind of like you have to offer it up. It's like you put your bread in the oven and you kind of offer it up and kind of hope that nature will take its course. And it's a sense of, again, this interdependence, and it's you can do all you can and you have to let it all happen. So it was an exciting, nervous, beautiful moment that I will remember.
So the only bannetons that we get, because there's kind of a world shortage, is friend has plastic ones which we bought off him, which we're reusing. So minimising waste. Just with rice flour, first loaf. Boom. Came out pretty nice. Let's get them all out. Let's score them all. Okay, so first loaves are in the oven there. You'll see, because they're kind of over fermented, they've lost their structure. And part of the issue we're working with now is that they're just kind of sticking beside each other, and we're kind of working out how best to load it.
This is like learning. This is absolute back to school.
So you see they're kind of like flat pancakes. Normally oven spring, it's in within the first 10 minutes, it's going to just suddenly rise up, but there's not a huge amount of rise because they're over fermented. Anyway.
This is Gas, so I'm Dave. I'm not really the baker. Steve's more the baker. I will be the baker soon, but I'm not yet. But Steve's run off to get pizza for his family, so I am in charge of the first loaves in the bakery. This is hilarious, it really is. I feel like I'm in charge of minding the kids or something. It's gas. You know, it really is, or the prized possessions.
Exciting, like I feel like it's working. I feel like, do you remember Peter Pan in that moment? It's working, Peter, it's working. Like, look. These lads here, or these ones here, have kind of risen, got a lot more oven spring. We've opened the damper to let the moisture out to get a kind of crispier crust. Look at they're looking pretty good. We're going to start to blister now. These lads here, I guess, sorry, excuse me using gender, but just so excited. This is, it's happening.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! Okay. All right. Okay. Put him back in. Yeah. False alarm. It would be very much like us to have to do things time and time and time and time again until we get it right. So the fact that it wasn't right first thing was not surprising at all.
Here's the first loaves, folks. Look at them cutes. There we go. They're pretty good. I'd probably I'd go darker, but that's great. Great job, Ed. Thanks. Great job. Look at those. Look at that. That's not bad. Look, first loaves. There's history in the making. Here they are.
How many? Wow.
First loaves came out. We were absolutely overjoyed. They were edible. They were tasty. There was a nice crumb on them. So in that moment, I remember just feeling such a sense of elation and joy. It works, we can do it.
The nature of craft is that you're constantly in pursuit of perfection, and the nature is constant iteration, refinement. So the first loaves came in, they came out reasonably good. You could eat them, they were tasty, but there was a long journey to go on this craft cycle. So it was like, as soon as they came out, it was like, okay, what can we learn from this and what can we apply to the next one? So I think one of the keys for me, who's kind of trying to perfect a craft, is to embrace failure and to see failure as not failure. It's actually just a lesson to learn and to apply to the next loaf.
There you have it. Day one, baking. Complete 11 p.m.
Two tired boys. We started the day around.
You're a man now. You're 40.
4:30 a.m. Didn't get into the oven at 6 p.m. So I guess we had 5 hours at it.
Some fruitful loaves. Some less so fruitful. These are more fit for knocking people out with. But I guess that's in the nature of time in the oven. So yeah, we open tomorrow. I guess, as I said, we didn't know if we were going to get a chance to bake earlier, and now we're realizing, can we bake? This is the test.
Yeah, we've 100 loaves which we're now retarding, which we'll bake in the morning, and fingers crossed they'll end up good enough to sell. If they don't, we'll give them away. So we'll have to see. I guess it's part of the journey, and I think using it tonight, I feel a little bit more like, whew, it's quite a mountain.
Well, it's almost like you've got to continue to make mistakes and fail your way to success. So we had a good few failures tonight, so that's some ticked off. But yeah,
See you in the morning.
so I slept like an absolute brick. Like I hit the bed, bang, out like a light. And I remember saying to myself going to bed, I want to be awake at 4:45. I don't set an alarm, haven't set an alarm for, I think, at all this year. And I said in my head, right, I want to wake up at 4:45. Bang, woke up at 4:45. And I felt like it was Christmas morning right from getting up. Like maybe my body just released adrenaline or whatnot. But I was just, whoom, this is it. This is match day.
Like, I know this might sound weird, but it felt almost like Christmas morning, and you had the toy that you've always dreamt of having, and now it was time to go play with it. So it was pretty special.
Okay, welcome. Day 2, just out of the sea. I woke up this morning at 4:30 after about 5 hours sleep and just woke up fierce excited. I was tired, but I was like, I'm too excited. So turn on the ovens. This one here now is up to 250. We're going to try a higher initial temperature to get more oven springing, hopefully get the moisture a little hotter.
Here's the
Doughs are ready. Some of them, they're looking pretty good. Feeling optimistic. Reckon we can do it. A little nervous down the beach. A lot of the friends kind of saying, oh geez, Greystones, the happy pair opening up was a real symbol for Greystones life, we're turning back together. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Look, here we go. We've got lots of different breads proofing out here, and doughs, incredible, really nice doughs that have huge amount of oven spring in them.
Get the lads out.
Here they are. The bakers.
Oh yeah, we're Charlie Cats. Look at this. Look at those.
That's a malted wholemeal.
Look at these for bills. This is amazing. This is the first official batch out of
And
the
as
oven.
you can see, we're a bit excited and a bit like, oh my god, here we go.
Here's another one. Look at this.
So here's the last 2 coming out.
But look, they look proud and big and.
Oh yeah.
So okay, welcome to the kitchen. So we came in at 5. I turned the ovens on at 5. We're a little nervous after yesterday because we kind of underbaked some, overbaked some. So it's kind of like we want to get them perfect today if we're going to sell them. So the big challenge is, can we have them right? Can we bake?
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
we bake? Yesterday the challenge was, will we get a chance to bake? And now we're realizing there's so many variables between the doughs, the mothers, and it's such scale and the volume and everything.
Because
So
it's
so-
one thing baking at home and baking incredible bread at home. It's another thing in a big deck oven where you literally have, like just to show you here, we have control of the top heat, bottom heat, door heat. So there's a whole other variables in this oven. Like you have steam injectors, you have everything. So it's like, how can we bake perfect bread, and can we get it perfect enough? We've 3 hours. We've 100 loaves, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, here, hang on, I got.
Yeah, okay. Let's just serve. We kind of need to get a brush. Brush the oven.
That was not glamorous. That was not smooth.
That was messy.
Rookies. So you can visualize 1,000 times what it's actually going to be like to slide your first loaves of bread into the oven, and you can think, oh my god, this is a movie, of course they're going to come off beautifully, it'll be poetry in motion, but the reality is that they stuck, and you're kind of going, oh okay, well what do I do? Plan B, get my hands in the oven, take them off, dough is sticky, get them in the oven. There's so many variables. I will learn this, I will conquer this, but for now I must get my hands dirty. Very, very exciting.
A little nervy as well.
really
like,
is,
it's like
like a-
with bread coming out everywhere, and it's kind of like,
Well,
hope
well-
it's good bread.
Well, it's amazing because it's like,
All right, Daddy.
it's like,
Look at this here, look, quick look at this. Look at all the breads.
Oh, it smells so
Look, come on, just have a quick look, Daddy. Look.
Linda, have a good look at the bread. She's the bread woman.
Look at this. Look at this, Daddy. Look. So there's the oven. There's one deck full. Look at this.
these are all fresh out of the oven.
Take a look.
No, absolutely no way. That's your bread.
Happy Christmas.
Oh, I just had Linda to come and look.
Oh, she loves it. So it's
She loves
amazing.
to
Oh, it's
see it.
amazing.
That's amazing. Are you sure?
Yeah, of course.
Happy
Of course.
Christmas,
It's even
Daddy.
nice just to hold for a while. It's like,
Oh, great.
I think bread, there's something so symbolic about bread, as in bringing home the bread or being the breadwinner or any of these kind of things. I think it just unites people so much. And with all the people we swim with every morning, we swim at sunrise every morning, we've been talking about opening a bakery for months, and they've had to listen to us and endure it. And so we definitely felt like we owed everyone a loaf.
There's such social accountability in how me and Dave tend to approach things. We kind of feel like you tell enough people what you're going to do, and there's a sense of integrity that I must do that now, and it almost forces us to overperform and to kind of really try to pursue and apply these dreams to our life. We're two total idealists. We want to go with Irish, organic, regenerative, heirloom varieties of wheat. But it's twice as expensive as organic UK wheat. Just to see if we can get. I don't know if the customer will even pay for it at that, but we gotta like.
I think they will. I think quality people will always pay for. So I guess it's finding this whole balance. I feel so alive right now because we're learning. I feel like I don't know if we can do
And there's
this.
this learning curve. So it's like, say, as a home baker, I hit the top of the learning curve, and now here we're on this commercial baking, and I feel like I'm right here, and it's here we go.
See, it's almost like a cream gel. So I think we'll go with, those were 950s, I think we're going to go with 500s on these. Whoa! Just that's pretty heavy, you know? Tastes very honest.
Too doughy?
I think a little bit too doughy. That would be my perception. Tastes very healthy. Well, so I'd give that one like a 5 out of 10 or something.
Our first loaf out of the oven was about a 5 out of 10, and as I mentioned, we're on this pursuit of the craft, this pursuit of excellence, and it's a lifetime pursuit, and it's a journey that we know because back about 7-8 years ago, our dear childhood friend Paul Grimes started working with us, and he was absolutely obsessed with specialty coffee. And as a chef, I was just intrigued when he talked about a Kenyan coffee that would taste of blackcurrant, or like he talked about, Costa Rican natural that actually tastes of pineapple. I'm like, how does coffee taste like pineapple? This is crazy. And I never drank coffee because I was always like, coffee's a drug, don't touch it. And Paul, with his passion, just exuded and inspired me to such a level. I was like, I gotta try all this coffee. So I started tasting coffee with Paul, and Paul joined us and started working with us, and I kind of fell in love with the craft and the romance with it, similarly to what I've done with sourdough. Within a couple of years, we bought a roaster, a coffee roaster, and we've been roasting our own coffee for the last number of years. And really, I remember when our first roasted coffee was about a 5 out of 10, and I see how far we've come now, where consistently it's an 8, some, depending on the origin and the bean, it'd be a 9, and even some of them are 10. So I know this journey, and I kind of understand that we kind of have to just stick with it, put in our 10,000 hours, and really, I think one of the keys to happiness for me is remembering to enjoy the journey. And I know it's so cliched and it's so stereotypical, but there's such wisdom in these simple, basic failures, the excitement of getting up, turning on the oven, beautiful bread coming out of the oven, and you're going, oh my God, and even just the general excitement around it is magnificent and so enriching in my life.
So during Corona, we were closed for a full 3 months, and that was actually more than we were closed for the full 15 years previously combined. And it was so strange walking around the building, and you realise that the people and the customers and the community, they're the ones that gave the energy and breathed the life into the building, because the building by itself is just a building, So it's very strange just walking around and it being empty and dusty and dirty. And it wasn't until we opened up for the first morning again that you just realise how much the people bring the love, the joy, the heart, the smiles. They bring the energy to the full building, and it feeds us, and we feel like, oh my God, we're home again. I'm here serving people, and it just feels very unifying. It's wonderful.
So we've been closed for 3 months, so it really feels like such a symbolic thing. 15 years where we used to only close Christmas Day, Easter, and now we're opening back up after being closed for 3 months. And even like the paint is slightly wet. We got scones out of the oven. I haven't had a scone in months. It's just the excitement. I just feel overjoyed and spilling with the ability just to have friends, the community, and to share our bread. And please God, it goes well. But I'm excited. The sun's even come out for us, so it's great. Let's have a great day.
Oh, having a ball. I feel like it's Christmas Eve. I genuinely do. I feel like we're starting again. It's just, I'm wired. Well, I guess because the Corona thing, it adds another element to it, because you don't know with the queuing and all this kind of stuff. And we probably don't have enough food, and it's just so exciting. Because there's such a learning curve in terms of the bread. Is the bread right? Is it right? The service, the queues, how we're going to manage the shop. It's just, I'm lit, having a ball.
Today's the first day of the bakery. This is our pride and joy. Having started as kind of home baker, it's such a different having this. It's like having a Formula 1 car, and you're trying to work out how to drive it. And so there's a huge learning curve. This is the heirloom organic spelt, so we've gone with 600 gram loaves, charging $2.95. Not sure if people are going to see that as too expensive. It's quite a small loaf, but it is organic flour. It is grown regeneratively. It is premium, but it's a little loaf. So let's see.
Honest work. The kids are trying to earn their brekkie.
30 minutes off opening up, excitement levels are through the roof. Bit of jeopardy here and that, like say we're chopping our bread and we're trying it here. This is the heirloom variety of spelt. Incredibly tasty, but undercooked dough. So challenge working with the heat. Nice malted dough here. Ends up great. Lovely sour notes are really, really good. And that's we went 70% white, 30% wholemeal, and yet look how dark it is. But lovely open crumb. This here is, what do I have here? We have a sesame and date. And that was yesterday's, so that's going to be used for sandwiches because it'll be slightly drier. Like you can see how wet these still are. And in terms of where we want to be in a year's time, I'd love to have really kind of started on the mastering the craft. And I don't see it ever that you master it. It's a long part of the journey, but where we kind of got systems down, we kind of have really started working closer with farmers. We understand kind of the impact of different protein content, different drop levels. So we've really kind of got into the finer detail, and then we start getting into really fancy pastries. So I'm excited about that. This is where we started in 2004, and we were very much all about organic, local, the best produce we can get. And Ross Babe and yes, we're doing a phenomenal job of just getting like the best produce we could find on this island, and the best produce we can find. So it's a tribute to the veg. Our breads are going to be on sale here later on today.
Speaking of best produce in Ireland.
Oh yeah. Oh look, this is all this. Look, these are all our products. Look. This feels like, I feel like I'm in a 1980s like kind of perfect supermarket. Like this is one of the Happy Pear fridges. You'll see we have about 40 products, which we sell all around Ireland, and it's, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit emotional if I'm really honest when I see all this. I'm trying to hold it all in, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. So we've been in business 15 years, and we both have degrees in business, and you know we've grown up in a capitalistic society where kind of you're sold this underlying suggestion that infinite growth, keep growing, bigger is better, and as a result we kind of expanded our business a little bit too much in recent years, and I think the cost of rapid expansion is dilution. So you know, we kind of lost our way a little bit in recent years. So I really feel opening the bakery and me and Dave being back here in the shop a lot more, it's real connecting back to the heart of the business and why we started. And even I see it in my own life, I feel a lot more congruent, a lot more integral, and I'm really happy just in baking bread and serving customers and being around and just enjoying the general buzz. And it's kind of like the paradox of life, less is more, and we're doing our best to put that into practice. And when I see our products in the fridge here, like when I look at them, for them, I'm kind of like, wow, that's phenomenal. Like there's a real when I take a moment, which I seldom do, to kind of appreciate the journey and the amount of work that's gone in and the amount of people and wonderful people in our team that have been involved in this. Like, wow, magic.
We're officially a bakery. We are selling bread. Very momentous moment.
Jesus,
it's really nice. These turned out the best, the Irish ones did yet. So, and we're debating about some of the other ones, whether they're good enough yet. So I guess they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something, and I'd say at the moment we're probably heading towards our first 100. And I think the simple joy of showing up there with that basket of bread and feeling, oh my goodness, against all the odds, against days and days of long, hard days where you really weren't sure if it was going to open or not, and could we break bread. We had our first basket of bread for sale, which was really symbolic, and it felt like a new dawn and a new start, and yeah, it was really touching. It was, you know, when I think back of just that actual moment and what it stands for, it was like a real fresh start, and really felt wonderful, you know.
That'll be $2.95, sir. There you go, pay a card. Oh, the first transaction.
You're officially a bakery.
Shawnee, Carl.
Woo! Beginning to kind of, you know, when that adrenaline high starts coming in, you're like, oh, great. We've kind of, you know, we had a good effort at it. We got it open. We got it over the line.
There is some
There's
breads
a lovely
for
atmosphere.
sale.
We've about 20 breads, and we've another load to go out. And they're the little it's funny, like for the last few months, both me and Charlie may have been working with this wonderful organic Irish spelt, and that's the one that came out perfect. But the shipped and stuff, we got to work with and just kind of understand it and kind of develop a relationship with it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're home after the holidays?
Definitely feel like so after the holidays, totally feel like I'm home, straight back into the swing of things. Really exciting to be in, playing with my hands, and less laptop time. There's a lot of laptop time now, so yeah, feeling very much at home. Dancing again. which is great. I know, it's just bread's coming out everywhere. As the expression goes, it takes a community to raise a child, and in the case of this bakery, it's taken a town to bring this bakery into existence.
Yeah, it really has. We've got Dennis and Chris who've kind of helped build the whole place, really.
So massive thank you. Massive thanks to Charlie May, our head chef, head baker.
Mark, our families, our wives, our partners, our kids, everyone. Like, genuinely, it's been a product of so many different people. And thank you for watching this video. We're very, very grateful. This is the first kind of storytelling home movie type video that we've done for a long time, and we'd love to do more of them. So maybe let us know what you liked about this video, what else we could show, because obviously we've got a full business which we haven't really showed you that much before, really.
Thanks for watching, thanks for being part of this, and let us know your thoughts. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's a love.
Bye.